Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast, we're going to be talking about some warm temperatures with spring-like temperatures moving across the eastern U.S. through the weekend, followed by a multi-day severe weather event across the southern plains through Dixie Alley and the southeast. And we'll be diving into the details on a new storm system moving into the country as we go in towards next week as well. So right now you're currently looking at your temperature anomalies across the U.S. and southern Canada today. And notice across the Great Plains, in particular, the southern plains and eastward into the eastern U.S., we are seeing above normal temperatures as indicated by the orange and red shaded colors. Look out west. We see below normal temperatures across portions of especially the Pacific Northwest and southwestern Canada, especially where you see those greens and those purples here, very far below average for this time of year. So waking up this morning, looking at our low temperatures out there, a very sharp contrast across the country. You can see out west and especially up here into the northern high plains, the Pacific Northwest, temperatures are more wintry across these regions into the single digits below zero up here into Montana and North Dakota. Compare that to the southeast and the eastern U.S. Temperatures were waking up into the 30s, 40s, 50s, and even some 60s across the southern plains this morning. And as we go into the afternoon, notice where the spring-like warmth is. It is down here across the southeast, the Gulf Coast, and the southern plains, and that is an area to watch for severe weather over the next few days as we get rid of some of these spring-like temperatures. Now, if you do like detailed weather breakdowns across North America throughout 2024, consider hitting the subscribe button down below and also the like button down below. It helps to get all of this valuable information passed along to more and more people. I truly do appreciate it. So, looking at our jet stream here, through today, we can see a trough moving in across the desert southwest, and that jet stream is very far south across northern Mexico and down here to the Rio Grande Valley. So a lot of energy down here across the southern plains as we go into today. That energy will shift across Dixie Alley and the Gulf Coast as we go into Friday. And finally, by Saturday, a maturing system across the southeast will bring some unsettled weather to those areas, and most of the east as well will be cooling off as we go into into the weekend time frame. So let's look at our severe weather prospects for today. There are two areas here of severe weather concerns. The first area up here to the north across far southern Kansas into western and northwestern Oklahoma and the far eastern Texas Panhandle up into the Enid region, into Woodward, also the Oklahoma City area, Norman. We're going to be watching out for that today on the northern edge. That is a slight risk of severe, a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. And then further to the south, we have another slight risk into the San Angelo region, Abilene, and into the Dallas-Fort Worth area and Waco across these areas for today. Another 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. Those two areas will need to be watched for tornadic potential as we go through your Thursday time frame. So we're going to be watching for a 2% of a tornado within a 25-mile radius of any given point within these two green shaded regions. And looking at the precipitation, so through the morning hours, we already have some showers and storms developing, and they will continue to develop through the mid and late morning period across northwest Texas. These could be some large hail producers, some heavy rain producers certainly, but also watching out for some gusty winds. It's as we go into the afternoon, a nice line of storms producing some damaging winds, hail, and even a couple tornadoes will be possible across North Texas here and up toward the Red River. This does encompass the Dallas-Fort Worth area back toward Abilene, so we'll be continuing to watch that this afternoon. And then as we go into tonight, more development up here toward the Oklahoma City area. This will be after dark, and this could lead to some large hail damaging winds and a tornado risk up there into Oklahoma after dark tonight, and continued risk for severe weather across northern and northeast Texas near the Dallas-Fort Worth area, maybe as far east as the Tyler, Texas region overnight tonight. A larger area of severe weather is anticipated on your Friday to end the week here, and you can see a large slight risk zone in the yellow here covering most of southeastern Oklahoma, into the Little Rock region, into Arkansas, into the areas east of I-35 here, primarily into East Texas. This does still include the Dallas area, and then moving in towards Louisiana, Shreveport, and Lake Charles, getting into Mississippi, into the Jackson region, and into portions of Alabama and Florida here, Mobile up toward Montgomery and near the Panama City area, watching out for severe weather on Friday, and a large area of concern for some tornadic supercells that could be producing tornadoes here, especially within this brown shaded color. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. So going into Friday morning, we're already getting ready for work, school, or to run any errands out there. We have some widely scattered showers and storms out there, and we could already be seeing some ongoing severe weather to start your Friday. And then as we go into the afternoon, a very messy storm mode as indicated by the 06Z HRRR model here. And if this does come to fruition, I really don't see an enhanced risk being upgraded with this system unless you're down here into the portions of southern Louisiana where we have more of these supercells down towards New Orleans, Lake Charles, and maybe toward the Alexandria region. That would be a bigger concern for an enhanced risk upgrade for your Friday afternoon time frame. Otherwise, to the north, we're just seeing a lot of heavy rain, damaging wind and hail potential further north into Arkansas, into Mississippi, into portions of Alabama there, and then that will shift across Alabama into North Georgia overnight Friday night with some heavy rain, some gusty winds, and some large hail. So definitely seeing a lot of action there on Friday. Then as we go into Saturday, the final day of severe weather for this multi-day severe weather event, we'll be across the Carolinas there and primarily into South Carolina there. Parts of North Carolina like the Charlotte area into Wilmington we'll keep an eye on. Down here into central and southern Georgia, this does include the Atlanta region, down toward Macon, Georgia, and Savannah, Georgia there. Getting into southeastern portions of Alabama and North Florida, including Panama City, Tallahassee, over here toward Gainesville, and also Jacksonville. We'll keep an eye on that as we go into Saturday. Overall, this system will be producing some very healthy rains straight through the weekend. This takes you through Sunday night here in the eastern U.S. as a whole. We'll be seeing some good rains out of this system here. Looking at the central U.S. here first, we have a couple swaths of some heavy rain. The northern swath across the Midwest here and into the Ohio River Valley could be putting down 1 to 2 inches of rain from eastern Kansas through Missouri, through portions of central Illinois, through the Illinois Valley, getting into portions of Indiana on up into Ohio and Michigan. The southern areas, these will be more with the severe storm activity. This will be across portions of Oklahoma, North Texas, through Arkansas and Louisiana, over here into Mississippi and Alabama, and even Georgia. Some of these areas could be seeing widespread 1 to as much as 3 inches of rain under some of those heavier thunderstorms. And there will be a swath across the eastern U.S. here in a couple of areas that could get over 3 inches of rain. The first swath could be from South Carolina back through portions of the Atlanta region into north and central Georgia and into eastern portions of Alabama. The second area will be up here into the northeast across coastal portions of Maine, getting into portions there of New Hampshire, into Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Over 3 inches of rain there may be possible through the end of the weekend. Looking at snowfall prospects, this will mainly be out west where we have some of that colder air aloft into the Cascades, the northern Sierras, or maybe a couple of inches there into the Four Corners region through the Rockies. Really not that big of a deal. There will be some snow, though, on the northern fringe of our system as it pulls down some cold air advection on the backside as it moves through the interior New England region from Maine back through portions of New Hampshire, Vermont, and upstate New York. We could be seeing at least a couple of inches of snow, mainly some slushy accumulations with this as we go through the weekend time frame. Now, as we go into next week here, after a brief cool down through the weekend, we're going to be right back up into spring-like territory with our temperatures across the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes. We're going well above normal again, and look at the signal out west below normal temperatures through next week from the 11th through the 15th, and that does mean another storm system and associated trough will be traversing the country here. But let's first look here at our temperatures through the week. So here's Monday, the start of next work week on the 11th. Notice our spring-like warmth. We're up to the 50s all the way up into the upper Midwest, the 60-degree line up here into the Central Plains. As we go into Wednesday, notice the contrast here. We have some some okay temperatures to the north into the 40s and 50s, but more spring-like, true spring-like air mass down here across the southern plains, the Gulf Coast, and the southeast, up into the 60s and 70s again on Wednesday by the middle of the week, and then a cold front will traverse the country as we go into later next week, and by Friday the spring-like warmth will be pushing up into the eastern Ohio Valley, the mid-Atlantic, the southeast here, and leaving us with cooler temperatures into the 40s and 50s behind that front later next week, and again for the weekend time frame by the middle of March. So let's look at our new trough and system moving in as we go into next week. This is on Monday, March 11th. Notice this is going to bring moisture into the Pacific Northwest in the form of heavy snow. Again, for the Cascades and the Sierras and even the Pacific Northwest and through the Rockies, we'll be keeping an eye on the snowfall there on Monday. Going into the middle of the week, this is Wednesday here. The main low pressure center is going to be across the Rockies into the Front Range. Could be seeing some heavier portions of snow here across Wyoming, western and central Colorado, back into Utah there. We are going to be watching the warm sector there on Wednesday as well for some severe weather. And that will continue into Thursday, even Friday time frame. We'll be watching the warm sector of this storm because you can see by Wednesday, this is your surface-based CAPE, the convective available potential energy values, and it's pretty weak here, around 500 to 1,000 joules per kilogram. But this could be enough if we have the kinematics in place, the jet streams coming together to produce some of that wind energy on Wednesday. Then as we go into Thursday, more vigorous type of air mass moving into the middle of the country, where we're starting to see more of those 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram instability, especially for central Texas there on Thursday. And then that will be moving down toward coastal Texas, Louisiana, and southern Mississippi with that instability as we go into Friday. So what could this look like? Well, you can see on Wednesday, we could have some bigger storms up there somewhere into the Great Plains. Whether or not they're into Nebraska or Kansas remains to be seen, but just giving you an idea that Wednesday we could have some elevated type of thunderstorms producing some large hail and some gusty winds, maybe a tornado threat there across the plains somewhere. Much more volatile setup as we go into Thursday. More instability, and we have more wind shear, and this could produce a more organized threat for severe weather again across Oklahoma, the Red River vicinity, and in towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area by Thursday. And then going into Friday, this is affecting more of the Waco and San Antonio region, Houston, back over to Lake Charles, and even Jackson, Mississippi, near the Gulf Coast as we go into later next week on Friday. So overall, the severe weather forecast here from Wednesday the 11th through Friday the 15th here, this does also include Thursday in between there as well. We could be seeing at least a chance of severe weather across the central and southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley, a very similar area of severe weather of what we're seeing as we go over the next few days here. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as we get closer to that event. If you do like detailed weather breakdowns across North America throughout 2024, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. We'll keep you updated with accurate weather forecasts right here on this channel. Make sure to press the like button down below, especially if you like today's weather forecast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your Thursday out there.